Conor McGregor is absolutely never going to recover from this, right? Like, he has been on a downward spiral, basically since he broke his leg, right? That has been an issue in and of itself. Frankly, I think the downward spiral started long before that. But now, the impact that this is going to have on so many fighters, in my opinion, is going to be crazy, right? Just look at this. Like, 3 of the biggest names in the UFC right now have all said repeatedly in interviews and things like that they've, at one point or another, looked up to Conor McGregor. Look at Ilia Topuria. Look at his tattoos. Look at his suits. Look at, the way he carried himself in different press conferences, right? Like, he's taking pages out of the Conor McGregor playbook. You can tell for sure when he was up and coming that he looked up to Conor, right? And I realize that a lot of these guys who are getting their own shine right now have had a little bit of beef with Conor. Like, that's just the way he is. Anytime anyone does something good, Conor would be like, yeah, but you weren't double champ, blah, 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 and start talking shit, right? That's just the way he is. But nevertheless, the guy they saw, the unstoppable Conor McGregor that they saw kind of back in 2014, 2015, basically right up until that point where he did that fight with Floyd Mayweather, there was an aura about him. There was a feeling of invincibility, even in some of the losses he had, like against Nate Diaz and things like that, right? It was like, yeah, he can come back from this. He can recover from this, right? Get back in the gym, train, do what you got to do. Come back stronger, right? But right now, from what we're seeing, this is it for Conor. And I'm not saying the dude isn't going to live in a way where he's, one of the richest professional athletes to ever walk this earth. Probably one of the richest professional athletes to ever walk this earth, right? Money's not going to be a problem. But the reality is, like, so what, right? Like every other professional athlete, right? Your time in the sun has come and gone. It has set. And the legacy that he's leaving behind right now is completely and utterly stained. Even if, after his appeal, he comes back and says, and the judge says, no, this was made up, I'm innocent, there's still always going to be that in the back of their mind. At the very least, he made a poor decision to cheat on the woman that's been with him from the very beginning, right? To betray his whole family. And so, this sort of persona, right? And a lot of people are like, it's a persona that he plays, right? The rich, arrogant prick, the cocky, all this, it's a persona, right? This is how he is when he's on camera, to get views, to get attention, to get what he wants, right? To sell pay-per-views, to make more money, all these other kind of things. He's playing a character. Okay, fair enough. But now behind closed doors, when he's off the scene, that hero that a lot of people once had, turns out, at the very least, he's a scumbag, right? At the very least, he finds it okay to betray his family, to cheat on his fiance, wife, girlfriend. Never meet your heroes. And so now, this guy that they held in such high esteem, what is left? What is left of his legacy? Right? He was the first double champ. Okay. A lot of people have done that since then. Made a lot of money. Cool. Lots of people have done that too. Helped build the UFC brand? Absolutely. But the UFC brand has been fine for a few years without him. So it's like, where do we go from here? What's going to be left for the Conor McGregor legacy? Because at 37, 38 years old, he ain't coming back and winning any belts. That's for sure. Right? He might come back for a fight or two against Michael Chandler. Does Michael Chandler want to go down that road? Maybe, maybe not. Is there another couple people that we might want to see. We might want to see that trilogy with Nate Diaz. But even still, you're not the baddest dude on the planet. Right? Now, a lot of people are saying that this all stems from the Conor Khabib fight back in 2018, right? All these antics. Everything that he's been doing since then has kind of just been like Khabib gave the guy PTSD almost, right? Because he couldn't do anything. And, had a ref not been there, that's it for Conor McGregor, right? Now, here's the other thing about this, right? You never know. You never know what could have been. But I think deep down in kind of McGregor's brain, McGregor's psyche, is just a little bit of a regret, right? Because he takes this Floyd Mayweather fight. It was 2016 or 2017. Made him rich beyond his wildest dreams, which is kind of what he was after. But at the same time, he gave up what was like that drive, that determination, and he's never going to know what the best version of himself could have looked like. Maybe that was the best version of himself, right? Maybe that's all he could have done, right? But I think somewhere in there, right, like the competitor in him is trying to drown out the voice that's saying, you took the easy way, right? You took the easy way. We'll never know what your best was. We'll never know the best that you could have done because you took the money, right? And so, and a lot of people have that voice, right? Like you hear about athletes all the time. It's just like, well, what if I had done this? What if I had done that, right? With every loss, I've talked to a bunch of fighters and they all say like, okay, when I lose, I feel, the voice in my head goes, okay, well, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? What if I had done things differently? And I think that fight with Floyd Mayweather, although it set him for life with the money side of things, I think it took away a lot of his discipline. It took away tons of his drive, It took away his hunger to fight. And I think, that lack of structure and that lack of discipline and that lack of ability to kind of just do whatever he wants whenever he wants, or that ability to do what he wants when he wants, right? That's a problem for a lot of people. Right, having kind of an unlimited supply of money and resources and all these other kind of things, it leads to heedlessness, right? Because you're not serving a purpose greater than yourself. So it's like this is the downfall of Conor McGregor, and I feel like there's just how does he recover from this? Because he doesn't have fighting, right? And maybe he gets involved in promotions, and maybe he trains, and maybe he I think BKFC dropped him, right? His Irish whiskey thing dropped him. Hitman dropped him. A bunch of other. This is a domino effect. A lot of them are going to drop him, right? And he's got maybe one more fight left, maybe two, right? 38, 40 plus. It's a no contest. So it's not a game, right? People over 40 don't fight. At least not competitively. So, maybe he does a boxing match. Like, certainly, there's a lot of things he could do where he's going to make money, right? But once again, it goes back to his legacy is trashed right now. Absolutely trashed. And so that guy that you looked up to, that these guys looked up to, that these fighters looked up to, the guy that kind of inspired them to be great fighters in and of their own right, like seeing his fall, I can't imagine what it does to kind of that teenager, that, the little boy inside you who's like, man, this was my hero. An absolute shame to see. So I don't think Conor McGregor is going to recover. There's so much going on here. This is going to have huge impacts throughout the sport worldwide. And I think it's going to highlight another thing, right? Like there's been, like, they've kind of been suppressed, right? But there have been whispers about, like, violence and different things like that towards women and partners and things like that among MMA and UFC fighters. And, like, we've seen that from John Jones. Now it appears that we've seen this from Conor McGregor, right? The bigger names in the business have behaved this way. And so, like, is there going to be some kind of lasting stigma or whatever? I don't know the answer. Nevertheless, this is what I think. I just wanted to throw these ideas out there, throw these thoughts out there, because I think that, you know, not only is this a bombshell of a story, not only do I think Conor McGregor is never going to recover from this, but the ripple effects to like some of the bigger names within the sport of the UFC, I think, you know, that adolescent inside them who was looking up to Conor McGregor, they just look and they're like, man, like, how could I have been so wrong about admiring someone like this, right? And I mean, even, like I said before, even if it turns out he's innocent, right? Even if the judge got it wrong, even if he wins the appeal, there's still going to be that in the back of their minds, he stepped out of the person he cares most about in the world, right? He is willing to destroy his family. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time.